What it do? What's up, y'all? Welcome to I guess it's the Unlimited Characters podcast. We're here with my boy Richard, aka Nisper, aka that boy.
Rich Willie.
No, but bro, appreciate you coming through. We've been talking about doing a video for a minute. I'm probably like a year into doing my little YouTube channel. Richard helped me set up a lot of stuff, so I was like, who would be better than the first guest on the Unlimited Characters podcast?
Very honored, very excited to be the first guest on the podcast.
Thank you. I would get up and bow, but the wires and everything we got set up, too much happening, guys. But we've been chilling here, talking a little bit already just about some random stuff. But thanks to everybody that's coming through. Drop a comment, hit like, let us know what you guys think. We're just going to be kind of chopping it up about some different stuff. We're talking about some different TV shows that we've been watching, just some different news, just kind of random stuff that two friends would talk about. And I guess a good place to start would probably be like introducing ourselves or how we know each other. So me and Richard went to grammar school together, or whatever you call it, grammar school, elementary school, primary school.
Man, but not to cut you off. I had this conversation with someone at work the other day. I said grammar school, and they looked at me like I was crazy. And they're like, "You mean elementary school?"
Yeah, see, that happens to me all the time. And I'm like, I don't even know, honestly. And when I go for my job, which I'm not going to say what my job is, but my job, I travel around, so I'll see people in other states, and I'm always thinking in my head, which one is it? Is it grammar school? Is it elementary school? And I really don't know. I think it just depends where you go, because then there's also, like, we didn't have, like, junior high school.
Exactly, yeah.
We went to Catholic school, so everybody was in one building. So they would be like, you guys could walk around and transfer classes. So we would walk from like literally across the hallway or maybe to the floor upstairs. But we didn't have like a junior high school. So it's funny because I don't know if it is like a historical thing or if it's like a local regional thing or what it is.
Are we dated?
Right. We're old as hell now. Yeah, I wonder what Gen Z says. They're like, it's lit. We don't even know. No, but I don't even remember what we were talking about before that now.
How we know each other.
Yeah, so how we know each other. There we go. That's why we need Richard here. I wander away. No, but we've known each other since we were like 12 years old, I think, or something like that. Yeah. So we've been friends for a minute. High school, we went to two different high schools, school after working, but now we're still cool to this day, so you got to respect it. You got to respect it.
Yeah.
And we're born, for random fact, like 13 days apart, guys. That's destiny.
We're like the youngest in the group.
Yeah, out of a lot of our friend group, we're always the youngest. Richard was the only one with me that were like, we're still not 21, guys.
Exactly.
We don't know what's going to happen here. But, yeah, I mean, Richard, we're both from Chicago, so we live here in the city. Richard I live in the suburbs, so we're actually in the suburbs right now. But Richard still lives right back in the old hood.
Logan Square.
Yeah, Logan Square, Fullerton and Pulaski area. We're not going to give away the address. But he still lives back in the old stomping ground. So it's always nice to get back over there. But we're going to talk about right now, I guess we'll just get into, unless, I don't know, we talk anything else about how we know each other.
Yeah, I think we covered it for the most part. Known each other our whole lives, same friend group.
He was at my wedding.
Was at his wedding.
See, that means something.
Wild wedding, which maybe we could talk about later.
Yeah, one day I think it'd be funny too to get some of the pictures up and go through it, which they're on my Google Drive, but those got to get organized a little bit. But yeah, wedding, we've gone on trips, we've done.
Oh man, some
we've done it all, and like little kid trips too. Like when we were like 12 or 13, we went to like Lake Geneva. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
That was funny. I always remember that because that was when that stupid Cascade song was really good.
Yeah, I know.
Like your arms are my.
Oh shit! Yeah, I remember that.
And every time we touch, I get this. It was.
And every time we touch, I can fly.
Yeah, that's like the same thing. I'm like, I know the words, but not really,
dude.
Every 2 words.
I will never forget too, because we were talking about trips that we took as kids. I know I've talked about this before with you. That one trip where you went to New York, and I think Jeremy went too.
No, we went to Disney World.
You went to Disney and you drove.
Yeah.
And my mom didn't let me go because there was that crazy ass guy who was like,
that
people.
was like the DC sniper back in the day.
Yeah,
that was crazy. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
damn, the DC sniper. That's how we know we actually are old. And that was something else we were going to talk about. We're millennials, so we're like, man, it's all those memes you see about all the crazy shit that's happened in millennials' lifetime. And that's what's even more crazy is that the DC sniper doesn't even make the list.
No.
Like if I was thinking of the top 10 things, I would not even think of the DC sniper. No. And that was
People
fucked
forget
up.
About him, but
yeah, like for those of you guys that don't know, dude was just literally on top of like different what are those things called? Like the overpasses that go over the highway. That shit was crazy back then. If I knew more about it, I would talk about it.
No,
But
yeah.
that's actually tweaks me out because I'm like, we're talking about like, all this shit that has happened in millennials' lives. You got like start off with like 9/11, you got the financial crisis, you got like Iraq war, you got the Afghanistan war, you got so much crazy shit, and then DC Sniper, just like not even making the top 10. Yeah. And we were talking about it earlier, like now with the news, you don't really know, like, not that you don't want to know, but you're just kind of, you get, I guess annoyed would be the word a little bit, is that it's hard to keep up because there's always so much going on that you do, like you said, you get a little bit desensitized.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like, I mean, it's important to stay informed and like keep up with things, but at the same time, like
You get flooded.
I just remember like waking up every day watching the news with my parents, and I'm like, damn, this is depressing.
Yeah,
you know?
get, it just feels negative. And because like we also were saying was a lot of it is just like the beginning. So you'll hear what happens and you're freaking out because they're telling you like whatever they think in the first 30 seconds of finding out that something happened. And then once it either gets debunked or they find out maybe it wasn't as bad as they thought, that it doesn't get brought up.
Yeah.
They don't really go back and do like a, hey guys, we freaked everybody out. Don't worry, it's not that big of a deal. It's like a 7th page story.
Man, I still think people should stay informed, but sometimes, man, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's a difference between being informed and watching the news. Because watching the news, if you're in Chicago, it's like, everybody thinks like, oh my God, you better not even go outside. You better not do anything. And it's funny because it's like we're like the opposite. I'm Mexican and Italian, so I'm like white and Mexican. And then you're Mexican and African American. So you got like the opposite dynamics, but then you see like, just all that like craziness that like my family, I'm sure back in Mexico, like if your cousins too, they're like, is it really that bad?
Yeah, no,
and you're thinking the same thing when you grow up here. You're like, is Mexico really that bad? So then
exactly.
It's kind of funny that you realize like anything else, like cities just are cities.
Yeah, I have friends like something about me. I play a lot of games online. I have friends that I've met online, and they'll ask me about Chicago, and they're like, "Oh, Chirac, blah blah blah,"
That's like the worst thing, bro.
I'm like, it's not that bad.
I hate when people say Chirac anyway.
Yeah, there's areas in any city, in the U.S. or any part of the world that like, if you live there, I probably shouldn't go there. Or I shouldn't go out that late, or I shouldn't be by myself here.
Every city has some like neglected neighborhood. And that's what's the more sad part is that it, which means that everybody in charge knows it. And it's just like a never ending conundrum. But still keep up with the news, guys. Just don't watch like the damn mainstream news. That's because it's just like what they call it, like just or what corn. Corn. We'll edit that out later. What minute are we at? 8 something. But all right, next we're going to talk about, guys, something more fun. We just got into a little tangent there. But I mean, me and Richard talk about a bunch of different shows all the time. We both, I have like every streaming service. I got HBO, I got Netflix, Amazon Prime Video. I got rid of Paramount. I got Disney Plus. I have like Hulu.
That's a lot of subscriptions, bro.
ESPN.
That is a lot of subscriptions.
Oh yeah.
I think I pay for 2 subscriptions, and I think like between my family, like my mom will pay.
Yeah.
For one,
See,
like,
we
split it up.
Like I got Peacock too, but Peacock came with not Amazon, with Xfinity. I got Xfinity, so Xfinity came with Peacock, and then I think Edith pays for Netflix, right? And then I pay for the other.
Very low key. I still use my ex's Peacock.
Oh, I hope. Hopefully, she's not watching this video.
She's not watching this one.
And if you are,
don't kick
we're
me
sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna talk about 3 shows that we like. So, I mean, at least the top, not 3 shows that we like, but right now the top 3 shows that I've been watching at least the end of 2024, start of 2025. And usually, I don't know how you guys are, I always think like Christmas to me is more like New Year, just because that's when I'm like off from work and probably started watching all these shows. And I took off some nice little time between the holidays, which was dope. But for me, first off, number 1 for me right now, and I talked about it in my last video, guys, Beast Games. So I've been locked in with the Beast Games. Right now, there's the 8th episode came out yesterday.
Okay.
Amazon Prime Video. They're in like the top 6 players now. There's only 2 episodes left, but it's pretty fire. Have you watched it at all? No, right?
No, I haven't watched any
You're so
Beast
lucky.
Games.
See, I wish I could be in your position where I
Just
just haven't
rewatch it
watched
again?
the Beast Games. Yeah, I'll probably rewatch it anyway.
No.
But it's pretty, like, we talked about the Squid Game, so it's like
Mhm.
obviously the reality version of the Squid Games. Not reality version of the Squid Games, but a lot of it. Like,
See, I didn't even know it was that because like I've seen a bunch of Mr. Beast videos before.
yeah,
I just assumed it was just like just challenges. I didn't know it was so it's made after Squid Game.
yeah. See, and I'm like the opposite. Is I really never watched any Mr. Beast videos, and then this
Okay.
is like the first time that I've actually. I mean, I've watched a few, but this is like his first like game show.
Oh, sick.
So
Okay,
they have like what? Here we go. So he has $5 million. There's
damn. One person wins?
yeah. So $5 million, one person wins.
Is there
They
like
start off with 5,000 people.
uh-huh.
And then there's just different games throughout the whole thing. So he's like offering people money. They'll say like, hey, before we even do the challenge, here's like $1 million. Anybody that says yeah, you guys just split it.
Oh shit.
So people have done that. They did it with, I think, I forgot how much it was in the first episode. I just talked about it yesterday and I can't remember. But
Can they like is it like Squid Games where they can choose to leave early kind of thing? Like
so that's kind of their version, I
everybody?
guess,
Or
of leaving early.
is it only like anyone who says yes or can like the whole
So this changes all the time. So
Okay,
like
okay,
let's
okay.
see, for example, like before the games even started, the very first episode, he's like they're all standing around like, all right, we're not gonna even play a game yet. But whoever wants to leave now, you just get the money and you go. So then that happens. Then the next one, they're like I gotta pull it up. Beast Games episode 1.
is he like
And
offering,
everybody that watched the last video, it wasn't even that many, you guys, so don't worry. Now tune into this one, you'll get the good overview.
is
but,
it,
so,
is it
okay.
like does he ever offer people like cars and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, he's still doing that. Okay.
Yes, he does all this typical shit he does in the regular one. So there's
Okay,
always like
okay.
a twist. There's always like more than what you think the challenge is. So like maybe you won, but then next time, so you look, if you look right now, we got it muted, guys. I can't. So like everybody's on these. I'll turn it down. So then what he does too is like offering them all money. And then afterwards, it's like, so you see how they're all standing there, these rows.
Yeah.
So they're all in these rows, and then he's like, all right, so basically, in order to move on, you have somebody in your row just has to like self-eliminate.
Wait, no incentive? They just
Yeah, so that's what's fucked up is like before this part, they're like, all right, you could get money and you'll just go home and it doesn't affect anybody. You just get the money and go. And then the people are like, they don't do it. So obviously they're still there.
Yeah.
And then this round, he's like, all right, somebody in your row, I think it's like until there's 3 rows left, has to like self-eliminate, and then
Damn.
you guys all get to stay.
That's brutal.
So it's like a self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
So they somehow like most of them convince
Man.
someone, and then they do another one, which is like, well, after I did like a stupid game where it was like they build blocks on top of each other and you got to follow this. That was nothing that crazy. But then after that one, they're like, all right, you're up in the row. And then instead of like these long rows, like you see how they're like super long,
Uh-huh.
they're like sideways. So there's already a lot of people eliminated. So then now he's like, all right, like only 500 people are going to make it to like the island. So like you
Sure.
guys have to like, some people have to go home basically. So then he starts offering money, like, all right, for, I don't know if they have
Man,
it.
imagine coming all the way out here. You're like, oh, I'm a big
Dude.
Mr. Beast fan, or oh, I'm so excited for the Beast Games to win money, and then someone has to self-sacrifice.
Dude,
No one's willing to, and it's like, I'm not going. Like,
bro, trust me, you got to watch it because there's so much stuff like that happens. And let me get it off of here. And I literally, I talked about it in the video I made, and I was saying the same thing. I'm like, think about it. You took off of work. You applied. You probably had to send in a video. You probably had to call off of work, get a babysitter if you have kids.
yeah.
And then you just are like, I'll self-eliminate. And you get no bread. And then you just passed up bread like
right.
10 minutes ago. So that's the weird part, like psychologically, where I think there's just some people that are like thinking that, well, first, maybe they think like they're just going to look good. And then second, they think that maybe he's like not actually going to like eliminate you.
Yeah.
But he is.
I think
He is.
it would take like him offering me something for me to consider like, okay, like I'm at least leaving here with something.
Yeah.
I don't think I could and like, I don't know. I don't think that makes you like a bad person for not wanting to like,
No, that's just, it's a game. That's the
Yeah.
part that's crazy when you watch a show though, is that a lot of people are like, they'll attack people's character.
I've seen a clip, which, I don't want to spoil anybody, but
Spoilers. Sorry, mute it if you don't want to hear it.
There's like a clip of these people made a deal on like a way that they would choose for someone to be
I know what
eliminated,
you're talking about.
and then the person just like backs out on that deal.
Yeah, so it was like 2 guys and a girl.
Yeah,
And they play the game. Yeah, then he's like, all right, well, you know what? We should actually find that because I think the guy tweaked.
Did he?
He tweaked because he asked them like, "Are you sure?" He said it twice. I was like, "Bro, you should not. You can't give him an out." Let's see. I think it's
he's like, you know what? No.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like,
I'm like, when he said that, I was like, "Oh, you just left the door open."
I didn't see the result, like, so I don't know what happens, but
I mean, they tell you basically.
Okay.
That part was just more funny to me. They didn't really like build that part up. Beast Games, episode 2 challenge.
That's only the episode 2?
Yeah, there's like a lot of challenges in all of them. It slows down obviously towards the end because it gets more like,
Damn.
Where is he at? That's the part that's hard to find it because you don't remember what it's called.
1,000 people is crazy.
Beast Games, guy.
The Squid Games even have 1,000
eliminated. Yeah, I think so. Guy gets eliminated. Oh no, hold on. I don't even know how to search this. Beast Games. Actually, I probably
Guy
have it in my
breaks deal or
history.
something.
I think I had like a list of all the episodes. Beast Games episodes overview. I think it was here. Yeah. Then I could just look up the challenge here. So you guys know what I'm doing here. I'm not looking up anything crazy. Which one was it? With the little red doors. Here we go. Challenge 2. Dude, there's so many things that happen in this damn show that's lit.
Would you do this?
Yeah. I want to do this one. I want to do like Survivor.
Like real Survivor?
Yeah.
I don't think I could
so
do that,
fun.
dude. Because they go to like some wild countries.
I mean, I probably won't win, but it'd be fun.
It would be an experience, don't get me wrong, but like
I feel like you got to train. And then it's even funnier because something like that happens in here.
Really?
Like not Survivor kind of comes up. It was funny. There's like a challenge where like I won't tell you who wins, but it's pretty funny. They're like so there's basically a challenge where the guy says they got to do a hanging contest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's this one. Hold on, let's see all this first. So you got to do I'll show you this one.
She just jags.
Gotta make ourselves a little smaller. We're doing it all here, guys. Audio, everything. So fuck with us.
Too easy.
All right, so look at you gotta listen to him.
Come on, you gotta make those. Too close to miss. Use a backboard.
So right here. Look at when he loses.
Are you sure?
See?
Yeah.
He gave him too many chances.
That's fucked up.
When he said that right there.
I could go and watch the episode.
Or well, just listen right here. Wait, we got to hear this, guys.
Oh, are we fair? Are you sure?
See, it's too much.
We're all gone. Are you serious?
So, all right, guys, if you guys can hear, we'll play one more. So they're playing the game. She makes it, so she's safe.
Okay.
That's it.
He makes it. Then
Yeah, I'm
right
out.
here.
Are we fair?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Actually, no, I lied. Hey, bam, we're all gone.
What is this?
Yeah.
Right here?
Are we fair?
Little hand
Yep.
movements.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Actually, no, I lied. Hey, bam, we're all gone.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah.
Robbie's so mad.
I'm not kidding.
It's like, what are you doing?
Oh wait, we don't even have
That's
to
so
show it on
dumb.
here.
Are we fair?
Yep.
Okay, guys,
Are you
this little
sure?
hand
Yeah.
movement there, this cracks me up. Let's get to the
Actually, no, I lied.
technical.
Hey, bam, we're all gone.
Are you serious?
NFL,
Yeah,
10-yard
I'm not kidding.
penalty, 15-yard penalty.
That's so dumb.
I know. And it's on TV as well.
It was so funny.
Please don't do this to us. Please, we agreed.
Wait, so okay. So
Do this to us. I beg of you.
Yeah.
outside of them playing a game, there's 3 people in each red box, and they need to figure out how they're gonna eliminate someone.
Yeah, so look at. I'm gonna just. I mean, I don't honestly. You'll still like it even if you know what happens. 'Cause it's still entertaining. So like, so much drama, So this is where we were talking first. So then that happens, they self-eliminate.
Yeah.
Episode 2, they play a goofy-ass game. They've got to catch a ball, and it's funny how that happens. Then another one of, like, bribing, eliminating, throwing a ball in a circle, trivia. So then right here, they're like, all right, we'll skip that part. That part's dramatic. They do, like, a hacky sack or a potato sack. I always say hacky sack. They do a potato sack race, and mute that. They're like, all right, this is going to just be for fun. You're going to, like, win prizes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they tell you to pick your 2 best friends, basically, like whoever you became the closest with.
Yeah.
And then, like you were talking about earlier, like a lot of the Mr. Beast videos, there's always like a twist or like there's something you got to pay for whatever decision you make.
Yeah.
So then he's like, all right, you guys had fun. Everybody won. Now the 3 of you are going to each go into this box right here.
Damn.
And then only 2 of you can come out.
Shiesty.
Yeah, so like those people were cool with each other too, so that's why it's I mean, it's also like, what do you think though? Like, you known each other for like 7 days or something. Like, how
like
friendly are you?
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny too though, because then he, like some typical Mr. Beast stuff, he lets them just order whatever they want. So like I could see if I could read it from here. So yeah, look at people order like a horse, people order puppies, somebody gets a tattoo. Because they're in there for like 5 or 6 hours.
Oh, shit.
So people are like having fun first. Like, all right, let's just have fun. They're ordering pizza.
What are you going to do with a horse in there?
I don't know. Ride it. People are just doing like goofy shit like that. But then they got to end up like eliminating someone.
Damn.
Yeah. And then pretty much like 500 people. Then they have like the island. And then there's like another place where they got to go. Yeah. So they have like challenge. This is probably the most boring episode 4. Because there's like little challenges. And every time you win, but it's like kind of like psychological. You got to like pick, all right, you got one, and you can pick 5 people. So people have to see who you pick to like move on with you.
Yeah. Dude, he makes very entertaining content. And a lot of people give him a hard time, but like.
That's because everybody gives everybody a hard time. And he's the number 1 most views and everything on YouTube. So everybody's definitely going to be hating. This one was actually kind of crazy, this game.
What is it?
They had a ball in their hands, and there's a timer for 10 minutes. You're blindfolded and you had to like count in your head.
Okay.
So like the 6 people that dropped it the closest to the 10 minutes, like move on.
Oh shit.
If you dropped it before, you could just like kind of like give up. Like I'll go on to the next game.
They don't have like
no, they don't have
blocking their
yeah.
ears.
So then they'll like the 6 people that drop it the closest to 10 minutes get to move on to like the next round, and then you could lose early because there's still more games. That's why the whole episode 4 is just like all little games where like, okay, now you can move on to like the next round basically. So if you win up challenge 1, you're just like on to the next round. You don't have to play the next challenge. But they're holding the ball, and then like you said, can you hear some people are like fucking with them? Yeah. So like people started like 17, 19, blah blah.
Oh shit.
Blah.
Okay, yeah.
So then there's like people that one girl dropped at like 9:59 somehow.
Oh damn.
But yeah, a lot of people just gave up, and then just like stupid little games like hold his ball up there. Another game where it was like a circle, and they're like, all right, everybody's in the circle. Like if one person goes in the circle, they move on and get to pick everybody. But if more than one person goes in the circle, they all get eliminated. So it's like you can just be like, oh, I'm not going. Everyone's like, I'm not going in. I'm not going in. But obviously one person's gonna end up going in.
Yeah.
And people get eliminated. Yeah.
I could never trust those where it's like, yeah, if it's one person does it, like everyone's cool. I'm just not going. Like,
yeah, that's what the thing was. It just depends, and that's kind of what catches you. Is like a lot of people will be doing good the whole show,
yeah,
and then just like tweak on one thing.
Yeah, it's like, or even those games where it's like, oh, if one person goes in, they'll get like the money. Or no, it'll be like if no one goes in, everyone shares the money. But if one person goes in, they get all the money.
Yeah,
it's like I can't trust people enough to like.
And that happened in like the last night's episode,
the
newest episode, episode 8.
Oh shit.
Well, no, there's like top 10 people left.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, guys. And there's same thing with money. So he's like, all right, you guys. A lot of it is like that too. Like you guys get to pick someone.
Mm-hmm. So
then you kind of like either get trust in them or not. So he's like, all right, you guys rank each other like 1 through 10 who you trust the most. And then there's $1 million like in the middle. And from the first person gets to start going, like, how much would you take out? So the first girl takes 100,000. It's like, oh, I'm going to be fair. Then the next guy just randomly is like,
and you get to keep like,
yeah, you get to keep it.
Oh my God, that's brutal.
And then the next guy takes like 223. So he's like already taking more than he should. Then the next guy, once he saw that someone else did, and he had like given some other dude in the episode before, he was like, slamming him like, oh, you're bogus for like the decision that the guy made and all this stuff.
Hypocritical.
Yeah, then he ends up taking like 650,000.
Bro, he's barely left anything for anyone
But
else.
he went like, I guess him and his husband had to do like all this like surrogate and IVFs. He said he was in like debt for 500,000 or something.
I mean, it's life-changing money, and I can understand that, and I can respect his decision.
It's just a game.
But at the same time, it is a game. You also don't know what other people are going through.
Yeah,
you know?
but that's the thing. I mean, that's the part though.
But
they were all doing that whole thing. We're only in the top 10 because we've all been so like fair. And at a certain point, you're like, bro, you guys came here to like,
yeah, you
win
came there to
money.
win money. So it's like I would never, especially as like a viewer. You know, I'm not even playing.
Yeah.
I would never give someone like a hard time.
Yeah,
for
but
this
they all
decision
start
to make.
obviously giving him a hard time.
Oh, yeah,
and
of
then
course.
they're like, yeah. So the one dude takes 0 because then he's like, oh well, I know that like Mr. Beast always like has something else, and that's so the next game it does matter like
Really?
how much money you took, but they haven't shown that one yet.
Oh, sure.
So the next
okay.
episode, tune in.
Wait,
but yeah.
do you know how many episodes?
Right now
left?
there's gonna be 10. There's
gonna
2
be
more
10.
left. Yeah.
Okay.
It's next week, and then the final or the finale is on February 13th.
Okay, dope. I need to catch up.
Because I'll be
I need to
in
start watching
Mexico. Yeah, so Beast Games, we went on a little run there. Beast Games, number 1 for me is my top 3 shows. Beast Games, and I'll just say them all now. Beast Games, Squid Games Season 2, and last but not least, Surviving Bar Stool.
that. Surviving
So yeah,
Bar Stool.
Squid Games Season 2, if you don't know what Squid Games is, you're tweaking. Surviving Bar Stool is like Survivor, but with the Bar Stool cast, which is pretty funny. But they don't go anywhere crazy. They're like in their office for 7 days, I think.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny. It's on YouTube, so it's free. Anybody wants to watch it. If you like Survivor, you'll like it. And they're pretty funny. I mean, they're all like different characters and stuff, but 2 of them are reality for me right now. I don't know why. It hasn't been a good show for me, I guess, even though I watched some stuff. But those have been for me.
Yeah. I feel like I have a lot of shows that I just like have on. And I'm like, oh, this is like my brain's off. I'm just
Yeah, like
watching
background
something
noise.
show. Yeah, like for me, I think my favorite shows I'm watching right now, I think number 1 is definitely Severance, which I'm excited to get into
Ooh.
for us to talk about. Number 2, Squid Games right now. I have feelings about the second season, which again, you know, we're gonna get into that.
Yazerski.
But then the third one's a hard one because I was watching Silo on Apple TV. Apple TV's got.
I caught up on Silo.
Oh, did you watch season 2?
Yeah,
Okay, I have not watched season 2,
it's pretty good.
so I'm excited to get into that. Us to talk about that because I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah, it just depends what you're into.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. Definitely, it's weird. But then once you, I think the end of season 2 definitely makes it like better.
And then
Season 2 made it a lot better than season 1, and then the end of it was pretty interesting. Where you're like, all right, season 3 is gonna be like pretty raw.
Okay.
Different.
And then the other show, if not Silo, which I think I suggested to you. I'm not sure if
Maybe.
you watched it. Dark?
Oh, on Netflix.
On Netflix.
I think I watched some of it
Okay,
or most of it.
That is arguably like
It's just so hard to keep up with.
it is. That's one where you really gotta sit down. You really gotta focus.
Yeah, and then do you watch it with the subtitles or with the?
you gotta. I'm an avid subtitle.
Yeah, me too. So that's why sometimes it's harder because then
Yeah.
if you don't pay
Like-
attention for like 2 minutes,
Yeah.
you're like, wait, what just happened?
Well-
And it happens to me all the time when I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Not just that, but everything now.
You got a lot more going on than I do. It's
Not even
just-
that. I just like the same dumb shit. You open your phone up or like
Yeah.
look away.
You got your wife. You got
Start
your
talking to her.
dog.
Yeah, Luca starts crying at me all the time.
Yeah.
But no, Severance. All right, so Severance, you've watched it at all or no?
Severance. I've watched all of season 1.
Okay,
Season
so
2
yeah.
just came out a
Started.
couple weeks ago. I think there's 2 episodes out. I haven't seen season 2 yet, but Severance is the best show on TV
Yeah, see,
right now.
I kept hearing about it everywhere. So I think I watched 2 episodes so far. And
the
like
first
even
season.
just like the first one, I think I turned it on before.
Yeah.
And it's like we're saying like oh, you got so much going on, but it's like also because it is boring. I'm like, I know, like my wife probably would be like, what crazy shit are you watching now? Because I'm always watching some weird shit like Silo.
Yeah.
And like Dark. So she's
Yeah.
like, what is wrong with you? But me and Rich are both like those shows. I like all those like just like the shit that's outside of the box where like, you know, it's a different like just a kind of perspective, I guess, like Severance. If you guys don't know, like the whole like point of the show, or not the point, but the whole premise. That's the right word. There we go. The whole premise of the show is that when they go to work, they have like a different memory. So when you basically like if you went to work every day, you don't remember what happened at work, and when you're at work, you don't even know like who you are outside of work.
It's essentially like you're two different people.
Yeah.
There's the you that spends 8 hours a day in your office, and then as soon as you hit that elevator, it's like there's the you that goes out and has a drink and has a social life. Like
so, it's kind of obviously it's like a play on real life because it's kind of saying everybody's like a fake, I guess, at work. And I work from home, so I don't go in an elevator.
You don't switch up.
But he's not just being like figurative. They literally in the show, the elevator is where their memory changes. So that's why he's saying when they get on the elevator, it's like he goes up, he forgets who he is, he goes down, goes back to being his normal person. But right, I mean, dude, it kind of gets you hooked because then spoiler again, but in the first episode, it's like, oh, his like best friend got fired or whatever.
Yeah.
So then his friend tries to talk to him outside already. So I'm already like, I'm locked in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything for you.
No, because you know that it's like that typical, not typical, but it'll be like a weird reason why. And I thought it was interesting too, because then when you go, I think it was episode 2, was in season 1, was like he's like at a dinner party.
Yeah.
And then they find out that he like works there. And it's that whole awkward.
It's a whole like controversial thing in that like world.
Yeah, that
where,
universe.
Even being like severed, some people are like totally against it.
And that's what they call it. They call it severed. So you're like memories severed. Because that's why it was funny. He's like, "Oh, he's severed" or something. And I was like, "What the hell?" They got their own.
He's a severed.
Yeah, I was like, they got their own little like words to judge everybody.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. Like I remember I talked to like a couple of friends about that. Like, oh, would you do that? I think most people, it was like a resounding no. But it is an interesting concept because like some people don't like what they do too.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends probably what you do. Like if you're a guy that's doing like I mean, if you're like a police officer or detective and you're looking at like like a homicide detective,
exactly, yeah,
and you're seeing like dead bodies, you probably would. But if you're but the counterpart is, and it's also like people that just do something like shitty and they don't want to feel bad, but they probably don't care. Like if you're like a person that works at some crazy agency that's doing like some weird research on something, so you feel bad, but you don't want to stop working there. Like,
yeah, like maybe the money's good. Maybe it's like a government thing or something.
And that's what it seems like they kind of play on a little bit. But to me, it was like a government. Like I was like, oh, they're like a weapons company or something.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing is like, as you're going through the show, like, you know, it's not very clear like what they do.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue that I would have like being severed is like I just don't know what I'm doing. Like for 8 hours of my life, like I'm just not in the driver's seat.
Yeah, it's like just always
concept.
being like in a dream.
Yeah, exactly.
But it looks. I mean, yeah. I gotta watch episode 3, but it's definitely one of the most interesting shows so far that I've seen in a while. Where I'm actually intrigued, where you don't kind of know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's you're 2 episodes in. I don't know if you've met her. She might be in episode 3.
The redhead lady?
Yeah.
Oh, then I'm probably farther. I don't remember what episode number. But
she might be 3.
In like 2 or 3. Because it's one of those shows too, like we were talking about, you want to pay attention. For the other ones, like some shows I'm like, oh, that's so cool, I'll put it on the background. And then that one I'm like, all right, I actually want to sit down and watch it. That's how I've been with like Silo. I'm like, okay, I'm actually gonna sit down.
I think her name is Helly.
Yeah.
She
something
is
like
I feel like she's most people's reaction to finding out they've been severed. She's like,
she
I don't want to do
freaks
this.
out.
Like, I'm not okay with this kind of
And then when she comes back, he's like, that means that you wanted to come back, which is creepy. Because then, like you said, you don't know like what you're thinking, if you're thinking for yourself. It reminded me a little bit of like Westworld, where it's like kind of being like a robot, I guess, too. Exactly. If you don't know who you are all the time. But then it's also weird because if you think about it, every night we just go to sleep for like 8 hours. You have no idea what happens. And reboot. And then it's crazy that you think that you don't even question it. You're just like, all right, I'm going to wake up.
Dude, it's so funny.
So I always wonder what happens if you just die in your sleep. It's got to be so weird.
It's just dark.
That was like from scary movies. Like, can you wake up and die? Can you wake up dead?
The podcast is going to get real dark.
Can you wake up dead?
How you
going to wake up dead?
I was talking to somebody was always telling me like, oh, I dreamed about this, I dreamed about that. I'm like, man, I don't dream. It's just like
for real,
just dark for 8 hours, or dark for what feels like, a minute.
That means that you're severed. You got
severed.
severed.
I'm going to sleep, and then like someone's just getting up and like
Wherever
it's
we're
not
working
me.
at, you're severed. No, I mean, I feel like it's hit or miss for me. I have a lot of weird ass dreams though, and then some nights where I don't.
You know what's helped me a lot, and I feel like has made me feel like I'm actually getting a lot of rest. I got a humidifier because
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
it's so dry.
See, we have one too, but I think our room is just too big. We're
Yeah.
like, I have like it looked big on Amazon, and it says it's for the size of the room, but it's not.
I have
it
it like
ain't hitting.
right next to my
And then
bed.
when we have, like, this is the first house, was my first house ever, but first house I've ever lived at too that has like central air. So when I
Oh,
replaced
yeah.
my central air, they're like, yo, we got this like humidifier thing, but it was like $2,000. And then I just didn't like trust
Yeah.
them. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if that really works, buddy.
It's hard, dude. It's hard to like.
Yeah. And then you start reading shit on Reddit, and it's like, some people are like, yeah, other people are like, no. And you're just like, well, I guess I'm going no.
Yeah.
But it definitely, in the winter, bro, it gets so dry.
No, man, it's bad.
Chicago.
I'm not someone who normally gets
dry.
like nosebleeds. But I woke up one day, started getting ready for work, and my nose felt a little weird. I went to the sink and I kind of did like one of these, and I just started bleeding. And I was like, yeah, I'm just not gonna go to work today, and I'm gonna order like a humidifier. And dude, it's helped me so much.
You got to get one of those, I forgot, like Nazidra or something, where you just like stuff that stuff in your nose.
Have you seen that thing where like people get like the little magnet? And
Yeah.
it, like makes your like nose.
They're supposed to be good for sleeping.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, and people are like, oh my.
Or
God,
they
I'm
have
getting
they have like mouth tape, so you put it.
Yeah.
That scares me
That
more.
scares me too, because I'm like, dude, what if I get a stuffy nose?
But I think that it's probably like a filter. Like I think you could still breathe through it.
I don't think you can. But what I've seen, like people say, is like you're not just gonna like if you're asleep and you can't breathe, you're not just your body's not just gonna let you die. Like it will like wake you up, or like you'll move it. Like
I don't know.
it just can't fight. It just tucked into the covers, can't move.
Well, that's a thing too about like the severed thing, if you're like dreaming or not. But then it's similar to it's kind of like with dreaming if you think about it. So, or sleeping. So
Dude.
it's like if you wake up every day, like how do you know that yesterday was yesterday? Just only because you think so, because of your memories. But then I had a theory before that, what if, like, you know, sometimes you're like, okay, like, man, that felt like yesterday.
yeah.
Like, what if you experienced it yesterday? Because if time's like linear and you could just experience everything.
Huh.
So it's like we don't know if we're living in order. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like everybody thinks like, okay, yesterday was what's today? Yesterday was January 30th. Blah blah blah. But if time's infinite,
This is the kind of like thoughts
Live
that'll give me
forever.
like an existential like crisis when I'm in bed.
see,
like,
for me, these are the type of thoughts that just get me like geeked. Like
feel
I don't
like-
even know what it is. I'm like, I think it's so interesting to just like. I used to feel like that. Like I don't know would freak me out.
yeah.
But there's like a weird like comfort to me to not know. Like I'm like, man, I'm so stupid that I have no idea how anything
Oh
works.
yeah, I definitely think like in the grand scheme of things, like I can't comprehend anything. I'm like an ant in this like grand scheme.
Yeah.
But
And
there's
you
been
can't change
times
it.
where like I'm laying in bed and I'm just like, man, like what's it, like what's the point of life?
Oh,
Why
yeah,
are we
that's the worst.
here? And then it's just like, oh god, like
Oh yeah, I think that's a different. Yeah, setting matters because sometimes if it happens at night and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I feel like I get that feeling of like somebody scratching on the
Yeah,
chalkboard, like
dude.
this weird sensation. But it's like
you're getting too close. Stop.
But I've thought
man.
about that, and that's what that show made me think about Sever, because it's like you can, if that could ever happen in real life, then I mean, like you could be like a prisoner in jail, like in your own body.
Yeah.
And that's what's weird though about like the dreaming and all that. I always think about that. Like, man, maybe it felt like it wasn't that long ago because maybe I like recently like experienced it again. Because if you talk about those people that think like, oh, you're in a virtual reality and all that crazy shit, if it is like that, then it kind of could be like a video game where you can just like pick where you want to play.
I think the thing that you mentioned that I wanted to talk about too is like in Severance, like the people who are outside, it's like they know what they they know what is going on in their personal life. They don't know what's going on in their work life, but they can keep track of time.
Yeah.
The people inside, they don't know what's going on out there. Like they're just stuck inside. So there's no like there's no looking outside to tell if it's daytime, nighttime. They can't. To my knowledge, there's nothing that like keeps track of the dates. It's just like,
they're just like
that's-
working.
yeah.
No, it's weird. And then it's like, I mean, yeah, it's just a weird premise in terms of like that reality of it, but it makes sense. Well, also I was going to say too, was that they talk about how not everybody actually has to do it. So he's like, oh, he's in like whatever is like Severance department. So it's
Yeah.
like not everybody that works there. like the guy that works the front desk just lets them in the elevator.
Yeah.
Security guy.
And I even wonder how much he knows. You know, he's probably just like, oh, but
and
there's
it's
like,
weird though, because that's how companies are though. I
Oh,
mean, we
yeah.
both work for different companies in our life, and everything's so like compartmentalized. Where you do sometimes are like, man, I'm gone like at that time. And nowadays, if you like work remote, and I work remote, so it does feel like you just like close the laptop,
yeah.
and then you're like, all right, now I'm a different, and I'm not a different person, but you feel like it sometimes, and maybe you want to be,
Yeah.
especially if you're severed.
I want to get your opinion.
Yeah.
I mean that's Severance. I'm about to switch up shows.
Yeah.
I want to get your opinion on Squid Games.
Squid Games. Well, season 1, I love season 1.
Season 1, incredible. Like
Season 2, I liked it,
yeah.
but it definitely just felt like, to me, I mean, and I think it's probably what they did on purpose, but it just felt like half of a season. Like I was like, all right, this felt like a build
no,
up.
Okay, so that's how I feel.
So
too.
I thought though, I mean, we found out today, I think, or yesterday, that the season 3 technically is coming out on like in June.
Yeah, it's like June 26th
So June 20
or something.
No, I think it's this year. June 25.
No, 26th the date.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah.
damn, June 2026. So that's what happened last time.
No, yeah.
But no, so I felt, to me, I was like, all right, maybe it's going to come out in January, because it felt like it just ended like not abruptly, but where it like started building up. But it's definitely just different. I mean, it has the first season was a lot more about like games, about the show.
The first season, I feel like too, it was such a crazy concept of a show that
Yeah.
it just like took everyone by storm. It's like, oh my god, like, they had I don't remember her name, but like the girl who makes it to the final 3 in the first season.
Yeah.
Everyone was a big fan of her. There was these characters that like you really liked and really hated, like the guy with the tattoo on his face in the first season who ends up dying because the girl, like, it was a glass platform.
Oh yeah, I remember
And
that.
she like grabs him and like pulls him down. He was the guy that everyone hated because he was like the big bad
like
guy.
the bully.
Yeah, the bully. They had these characters that like you really liked, you were really cheering for, you really hated. You liked the main character. His friend you end up hating at the end because he becomes this like guy blinded by greed and stuff. I'm not feeling a lot of that in the second season.
I mean, there's some of them, I guess, like the son and the mom and the son.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good one, just because obviously then he like screws over his mom, or not screws over, but
Yeah.
votes against her. And then, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe it's just different. I mean, I guess they're
Yeah.
trying to make it more about like, it became more about just the main guy, I guess, like his story a little bit more.
I feel
Then they
like-
have the story about the cop a lot more, like the one that's trying to look for the island with him.
Yeah.
So I think, to me, they maybe didn't want to make it about the characters. I mean, that's a good point though, because it's obviously the main guy. What is he, like 456?
Yeah.
And then the handler.
Oh, he was 1, right?
Well, he became 1, I guess, because he won. But when he first played,
Oh no. What was his number?
I thought it was 456.
Oh no. Yeah, he is 456. Yeah. but
Yeah. Then the
who's
guy I'm talking
handler?
about, the handler, he was 1.
Yeah, he's the one. Yeah. Okay.
So him, like, it's more about him, his friend that kind of was with him a little bit.
yeah, I watched a TikTok, which I don't have. It was just like Instagram reel or something.
Yeah.
But I saw a cold ass theory that people have.
What is it?
Remember the old man from season 1?
Yeah.
So the old man in season 1 says, he talks about his son not being able to have milk, like he can't like digest it.
Yeah.
And then
Oh yeah, that guy says he can't have
the
milk. Yeah.
handler
I could see
says
that.
he's like, I can't have milk.
Because didn't he not even die though? I thought the old man didn't die.
The old man dies in the hospital at the end of season 1.
Supposedly.
But the mom, the cop, I think they have some conversation about the old man too,
Oh,
like the
okay.
dad. So the theories are that like the handler is the son of the old
I could
man.
see that. I think I might have seen that TikTok. I mean, it's funny too, because after like the first or second one, I told my wife, I'm like, yeah, that dude's definitely like involved, or the
Yeah.
guy that's in charge of the game. And you could tell, but it was dope at the end. And that was kind of one thing I didn't like though, was like, I feel after all the stuff that I always forget what his name is, the guy that won.
Ji-hoon or something.
Yeah, Ji-hoon. After all of that, like, he couldn't see through that guy, that he was kind of like playing with them.
Yeah.
But I think that's also kind of a play on like how everything in his life was kind of just like fucked up. Like he was so focused on trying to find them that it's like right in front of him and he still couldn't like see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that dude obviously was like, oh, do this, all that, blah, blah, blah. And it, I mean, the part that I thought was funny too was when they all thought it was gonna be like the same exact games and they were all
Honestly,
mad at him.
I thought it was going to be too. Because I mean, after the first one started out the same, I was like, oh yeah.
It kind of became about like the moment that I realized it wasn't gonna be the same was when they did tell everybody that he won before. Because if they would have not said like, oh, this guy's won, then it wouldn't have been like that whole narrative.
Dude.
So I do feel like they also like, I guess not rushed it, but it became like the story was just moving a lot faster than before. Like before it was like you said, a lot of the whole like, you know, building up the characters. And then spoiler too, like I thought it was so stupid. Like at the last episode where like they're just like shooting out for like an hour. Like I was just like, what is the point of this?
So
because what's gonna happen now is gonna like if it was real life, they'll just kill them all.
I want you to look something up real quick while I expand on it. Go to Squid Game. Look up Squid Games on wall and let's see if it comes up. What you were just talking about with the last episode, there was a few things I didn't like. I'm not sure if that was the episode.
Oh, like this, and then Netflix series of games are displayed on the wall.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk about this in a second. I agree that I thought the last episode, the shootout was, I think it was overdone.
It was so extra.
It was just like they might have just been trying to kill some time.
It looked like such a fake like action movie scene. Like he's like, "Come on, run!" And they're just. That was the part where I was like, "All right, guys, this was like totally unnecessary."
Yeah, and we all knew how it was gonna end. We knew they weren't gonna get out. We knew they weren't gonna get the money. I honestly don't know what's gonna happen with the player one. I don't know if he'll just be out or if they'll try to say he died or I don't know what's gonna happen there. I didn't like, and I don't know if it was that episode or the one before it where they like killed off that Thanos guy. I thought he was gonna be a bigger character.
That we hated. They built him up for like no reason. Exactly. They just died so stupid.
Yeah,
I felt like that too. I was like, all right, finally he's like getting a little bit like I could feel him as a character, and then he just.
Yeah, I was like, I don't like him. I was like, oh, eventually, like, maybe he's going to run out of drugs or something, and then...
But that part was also stupid, too, that, like, all the shit they do to get you there, and they didn't just check his chain.
That's what I was thinking, too. They literally found the molar tracking device in that guy, but they don't open up the chain.
Or they might have just, I think, also let it slide, because he's like, they don't give a fuck. Because that was what, I think, I forgot who told me, but I think that dude is, like, a pretty famous, like, in Korea. Like as far as like other, I don't know if he actually raps or if he does other movies or shows, but then that would make more sense why he wasn't longer. Like, okay, we'll just bring this like.
Oh, so he's actually like a famous person out there. Okay.
I'm pretty sure because they know Squid Game. Yeah, I think it might have been Jeremy that said that.
Yo, if you guys ever hear us reference Jeremy, that is our like childhood friend.
Our amigo.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, the guy played the role. He's a rapper. Let's see. T.O.P. Yeah, that's like his name. What does he do?
Oh shit.
So he's a real rapper.
Oh wow. Okay.
We're talking about this dude.
Damn.
So he's from Squid Games.
Yeah, so he probably couldn't be on the show that long.
Yeah, or probably didn't want to.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it definitely made him more famous. I was just more confused. I don't know, like I kept telling I think I told Edith and Jeremy, I was like, yo, like I feel like it looks like when he talked English, it looked like AI.
Yeah.
I swear, like I tried looking it up, I couldn't really find out. But I was like, that has to be AI because it sounded
weird or scary, like
because it sounded the same. Like usually when you speak another language, you don't sound your like voice doesn't sound exactly the same.
Yeah,
like when I speak Spanish, I don't think I sound as like deep like this. I'm not like hola como estás. Like it sounds like that
Korean,
in English.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, it's so interesting how like other languages, specifically like I'm thinking like K-pop, so like Korean stuff. They'll like mix in English so much, like in their words, because like Thanos does it a lot, or like even in their music.
Yeah, like our big words.
Yeah,
and that's what I thought was funny too. I'm like, what words they think are like American? Like you hear those like phrases, they're like it's lit or stuff like that. Where you're just like, wow, that's what they think. We're just all walking around screaming it out there. But for this, I think you were gonna talk about what were you gonna say about this part?
Oh, yeah. So I had a friend tell me that they're like, "Did you pay attention to season 1 of Squid Games? You can't really see it at the start, but when because there's that part in season 1 where it goes dark and people start like fighting and
Yeah.
killing each other. The games that they're all
Oh,
gonna
like
play
here.
are on the wall.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. They
I
say right
never
here.
noticed that, and my friend was like, I don't know why he didn't tell them, like, even in the second season. I haven't noticed if it's on the wall in the second season, but all of the games that they're going to play in Squid Games are on the wall.
Yeah, look right here. They got some of them. So they have monkey bars. So probably hanging human checkers. That'll be crazy.
Yeah. Which is sick. Like, I mean, if the main character was paying attention, he could tell them, like, hey, all the games we're going to play are on
There's
the
actually
wall.
a pretty good theory right here. Is could the front man force Ji-hoon to face off against him using the remaining players to play the final showdown game?
Yeah, well, who knows what's gonna happen to him now? Like, I'm assuming for the show to keep going, and like it would be dumb to
something's
kill him
gotta
off
happen.
anyway. The other way than forcing him to go back to play the games, right?
He's gonna have to play the games. They also don't know where they are still. So I feel like the most likely thing is gonna be they're gonna be doing all that. They're gonna be playing the games, and
You
then
think there will be a punishment for like what they did, or no?
damn, they probably there's either two things. I feel like either they're gonna either they're gonna end up just playing the games or whatever, and then that kid that's a cop is gonna end up like probably saving them like right at the last minute, or he's gonna get there at the worst time, which will be right when they start playing, and then he probably has to like somehow play.
Or if they play against each other,
Or it's gonna be something like they're gonna just. I feel like this is probably more likely as season 3 is gonna start. Those dudes are gonna show up there and they're gonna be like gone already, and he moved them to somewhere else. Like they're gonna just wake up like in a worse game.
Yo.
They do a collab. They're gonna wake up like in Saw.
Oh shit, dude! Two characters I want to talk about.
Cut your legs.
Two is well, we can start from like early in the show. The guy who hands out the cards.
Oh, the guy that like throws them.
Yeah, man. I was not expecting to get such like a deep look into that character, or like any extra info on him. That whole situation where he makes the gang leader and the gang member play against each other was crazy. And then him playing against the main character, 456, that was wild.
Yeah, that was crazy. The whole like what is it?
The Russian roulette.
Russian roulette. Yeah, I was like I couldn't think of the name. Yeah, but that was crazy. And I see that's what I think was they focused on like characters like that versus the actual like contestants this time, which I get it, because this one, like you said, like, and I think it kind of shows too a little bit about it too is how they just let them die. So the girl that was pregnant died or gets eliminated.
That was
the
crazy.
Thanos guy gets eliminated. So you can tell that it's kind of I guess a symbol of basically the game doesn't matter. Like everybody that's relevant is probably still alive. But it's going to be just weird to see what they end up doing. But I feel like it has to be some type of final game, some Squid Game at the end still. Obviously, it's still called Squid Game. But I think they said it's the last season, though, right?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, if they do more, it would just become stupid.
Yeah. Dude,
it reminds me of, like, Fast and the Furious. Like, at this point, if they
yeah.
keep going, it's going to become, like, an action movie.
But you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I think I've seen I feel the same way. I've seen every Fast and Furious movie because I'm like, at this point, I've seen like the last 6 or 7. I might as well just.
I don't even know. I stopped watching them. Yeah, third and final season.
Yeah. Okay.
So that makes sense. Yeah, because that's what I was thinking of. I'm like, bro, by the final episode of season 2, I'm like, this is just about to become Fast and Furious.
No, 100%.
They're just gonna start doing action stuff. Jing Hoon is gonna be like flying into helicopters.
There's another show that has like a similar concept. It's just like way more out there. It's called Alice in Borderland, I think.
What's the concept? Oh no, yeah. I've seen it. I haven't watched it, but I've seen that it's like they wake up in like a world basically, and they gotta
play these like games or do these challenges. It's like that. This is a way more extreme, like out there version of.
That's like basically like some like Maze Runner. You ever seen the movie Maze Runner? Like that. Yeah. They're like in an outside terrain. I mean, honestly, a lot of the shows I've seen that are really good the last several years are a lot of like Korean shows.
No, yeah,
there was Squid Games. There's the man, I can't think of it. I think it's like Black Monday or something. No, there's a show that they had on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm not sure which.
Oh, here we go. All of Us Are Dead.
Oh, I never watched it. I did see. I
Like
think I
this
heard
one was
good
pretty
things.
cool.
Yeah.
I like this show. They had one season, and it's like across. Though you'll see a lot of the similar actors in some of them.
Okay.
And they're, I mean, I think I like it because it's always like something kind of new. They don't
Yeah.
just do like right now in America, they're just doing a lot of remakes. Like what
Yeah. It's a
I
little
just saw a
stale.
commercial yesterday. I was like, Bridget Jones' Diary, like number 3 or some shit. I was like, who even wants to watch this?
Yeah.
Like, why won't they just make something else? But all right, so Squid Game season 2. So season 3, we're going to be seeing pretty soon. And I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely different. Season 2 is a lot different than season 1. So if you're expecting the same thing, don't expect that. It's a little bit more about the actual backstory.
Still good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
still good. It's just different. Yeah.
Yeah, then the other show, which I talked about already for me, was just Surviving Bar Stool. It's like Survivor, like, but within their office, they're just playing like stupid games. Nothing too hard. I need to go into detail. Just funny as hell. A lot of like sports dudes. And if you see my videos, most of them are sports videos. So a lot of them is like type of dudes. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty hilarious.
They're sports guys with. I mean, I've never seen the show. I've seen some challenges that again our friend Jeremy showed me.
Yeah, just like stupid ones.
But they have great personalities. It's why they're so successful. So if you want to see a couple,
Yeah, and the
funny
part that makes
people-
it funnier too is that they're all like friends, like how we are, like coworkers. So it's people that you do have to see. So that does add a little bit of a different dynamic.
yeah,
Is some of them are like more concerned about like backstabbing or voting people out because they do like work with them every day.
yeah.
Where like real Survivor, it's like fuck it, like I
Yo,
got 6 months to go home. You never see me again.
how much is their boss involved in it? Is David on there a lot?
He's in the show, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's and that's another factor too. Is like that's your boss, so
Yeah. Dude,
No one wants- he doesn't-
He's got a personality on him.
yeah, he's pretty crazy. And even that show, it comes out a lot too.
does it. Yeah.
Just like fucking with people a lot. That's what you could tell is, and it's a little bit messed up sometimes. It's like they have some people that are there to just like bag on them a little bit,
Yeah.
but it makes for good entertainment. And if those people are cool with it, so
Yeah.
am I.
Also, like if they're not happy, then they obviously wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
their
And a lot of
take.
their shows are pretty good just because it's like, it reminds me of like old school, like unfiltered sports talk where it's just like yelling at each other, doing shit. They're not like, we were talking a little bit earlier about like ESPN and all they do is like debate with each other
Yeah.
versus these guys are like legitimately will get mad because it's like their actual
Yeah,
team.
they're like passionate.
yeah,
about it,
exactly.
yeah.
Versus just like LeBron James is not better than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And you're like, bro, how you guys have this every week?
Yeah, it's the same debate every week. Yeah, it's
Yeah, and that's the part that does get a little redundant. But the other, there was one more show I think you were talking about.
Oh, Silo.
Silo. And we
which-
both caught up, or I'm mostly on season 2. Richard's not. But we can talk about season 1.
Yeah, let's talk about season 1. So the whole concept of the show is like you're in this like post-apocalyptic world.
At least that's what they make it seem.
That's what it seems like. You can't you can't survive outside essentially.
Yeah, they all live in, they call them silos, but they're like gigantic like bunkers, but like not bunkers.
Well,
It's like a city underground.
in the first season too, it's not even silos. It's silo.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, there you go.
There's only like, this
you're right.
one thing. We don't know if anyone else is alive. It's just this one silo that has like multiple levels and like
It's like I think like 100 floors or more.
yeah, and like essentially, as you can imagine, there's like different tiers of
Yeah,
like,
so it's
living.
kind of like a class system too. Like the
Mhm.
lower you are in the silo, like you would imagine, the lower in like their society you are, or you're one of the people that is like an engineer, mechanic. And I think that also speaks a lot to like American culture, where it's like
kind of
the people that actually make everything and actually run everything and know how everything works are not like considered the elite people, which is kind of
Yeah.
crazy. It's like more like idea people, I guess, at the top, and then the people that actually function and make sure everything's running are like at the bottom of their society. And it's like, I guess, a thing on ours.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of the like exact wording, but there's like some taboo words or taboo line that you can't say, which I think it's I want to leave. Like
Yeah, like it's like I want to go outside, or I want to clean.
Yeah, I want to clean. I want to.
If you clean, it's because they kick you out and you got to go clean outside, which is supposed to be like radiated or radiation or whatever's
Yeah.
going on.
And whenever they do send someone out, this happens like in the show, pretty early. Everyone gathers because like the suits they send you out with have like a camera, and everyone gathers in like we'll just call it like the
It's like a cafeteria.
Yeah. There's a TV, so everyone goes, and the objective when they say I want to go clean, they clean like this little camera, so you can see outside clearly.
Yeah, and it's on Apple TV. And yeah, it's like they probably do have a video.
Apple TV's been popping off with TV shows.
That's because they have more. I feel like they got like freedom to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like just make some crazy. So this is like what the silo looks like, just deep as hell, all the way to the bottom.
Yeah. So essentially, the main character kind of gets put in this position where
Shoddy, yeah.
she ends up being like
She becomes like the cop.
a deputy, a cop. Yeah. And she's like, she's only in this position because the guy you can see in the second picture.
Where at?
Scroll down a little bit.
Oh. I was like, the guy, his name's Common.
Right there. No, not Common. This guy ends up
the sheriff.
putting her, the previous sheriff ends up kind of putting her in this position where she has to become the sheriff.
That's what's funny is like by the time I'm now in season 2, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. No, if you are into like trying to figure out like what's going on, there's so many like twists and like turns and like conspiracies, and if you're into that kind of thing, this is a show for you. It's
and I mean, to me too, what I think about, and I guess why I kind of like a lot of these shows is that I feel like now we live in such a big world where the whole planet's connected. So sometimes it's hard to remember like human nature or how people are. And if you've ever been a part of like either a small company, maybe you're a part of like, I guess I always think of like a fraternity or sorority where you're like running a little business or you run a business, something like that, or just an organization, you kind of see how that shit plays out. So like in a show like this, a lot of the stuff, it's like, you know, things aren't as, like you said, you're trying to figure out what's going on. And I feel like I think like that for real life. Like, I'm like, man, that's what I feel like is, I guess it's also just how I think, but it's like, you know, like don't always believe what people tell you. The people that are in charge want to keep peace versus
also,
like
the people that are in charge, sometimes they're not really in charge.
Like exactly. So that's why I think I like shows like that, because I think a lot of people don't like to think about that for real life. Just like we were saying, you don't want to think about like the news or shit. Like you want to just be like, you know what, I'm not, and it's true. Like you're not gonna be able to do anything to fix it like in 1 second thinking about it. But you also shouldn't be naive every day and be like, everybody that's telling me what to do is so smart.
But you know what's crazy too? It's like in this show, because like I agree. Like I have a similar way of thinking like in life in general. But in the show, it wants you to like think that way. Like don't trust everything. But at the same time, like there is a reason why they're doing these things. And that these things, so like I think the big issue is like, a lot of the times it's like being hidden.
Yeah, that's the thing too. In this one, they use it to, like, I guess stoke fear. I guess make people like not, not afraid to stand up. Like if you do this, then it's bad, because that's what they always talk about, and it's something you would say in real life. But like it's for the good of the silo or the silo.
Oh yeah.
So it's like if you're not contributing, then it's not the good of the silo. So that's like a good thing, but it's like anything else. Like they weaponize that against their like emotions, and then. Even the lady that we're talking about, the main character, she's like a good person, and then they make her like try to look like she's all crazy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the same thing. That's why it's an interesting show. They don't know why they're there, so that's what makes it kind of interesting. People are like giving her signs for different things in season 1, like, yo, there's more than what meets the eye. That's going on at the silo. And in season 2, you find out like a lot more history about like the silo. So that's what made it more interesting. Was you find out different things that happened in the past. You find out, like kind of,
because they even mentioned it in this first season. There was like a war. Or
that's the thing. They talk about different wars that had happened, and like it's really season 2 is a lot better. Season 1 is like it's definitely a slow burn.
I was gonna say
I was gonna say it for sure.
Burn.
So if you like sci-fi, or if you like not, I guess, mysteries, if you like conspiracies or stuff like that, it's a good show where like there's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of good characters in there, and it's really interesting too. Like when I think about crazy stuff all the time, is like, man, if people had to live underground, which, you know, there's always a possibility with something crazy happening, not even just like nuclear things, but I always think about like natural disasters. And there's not structures like these, but if you look up like America and other places, they found like tunnels underground like that. So you think like, man, this could be something where you could see that's happened. Like if there's something crazy, people would have to like cram in there. And then if they don't know when to leave, like when would they leave? Like it's an interesting.
Send somebody out.
Yeah, like and people once you get used to things, you're just like, cool.
Yeah.
We live underground.
Yeah, people get complacent. They get comfortable. They won't want to go.
But yeah,
out.
Apple TV, man, there's a lot of really good shows on there. There's another one, probably like the best show on Apple TV.
I think I know which one you're talking about. It's that guy from the comedian guy.
I think. Wait, let me
The
see.
guy from How I Met Your Mother.
No. So there's.
Oh, that's the one I'm talking about. Shrinking.
No,
People
I
like
haven't
it a lot.
watched that yet. Silo, I've seen. Severance. I tried this one. I got too bored.
Did you see Presumed Innocent?
Yeah, I watched that. That was really good.
Yeah.
This one was really good.
I did not see the twist coming.
Yeah,
in
that one was good. That was the first time in a while. This is really, really good.
Blackbird. Yeah. Wait.
So this show
Okay.
for sure. If you haven't seen this is like #1 recommend. It's only one season and it's based on a true story. So we watched it last year, and it's really, really cool premise. So this dude,
I like that actor too.
yeah, and he's really good. And this guy too. He was like in Karate Kid.
Okay.
Or the one that's the newer one.
The new like Jaden.
The one that's the show. The one that's on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Which
okay,
I've
okay,
also
okay.
liked that show. No, I don't even know why. That's like the corniest show I've liked. You know why though? I think it
Bro,
reminds me of being like a kid.
There's shows like that that's what I said. Like sometimes I just turn my brain off and watch like stuff. There's a show called The Rookie on like Hulu that I watched. Man, I watched like six.
What is it about?
6, 7 seasons. It's about
Like
like
cops?
a 40-year-old man who decides to become a cop.
Okay, yeah.
in
See,
L-
I've seen
in
it, but I never
LA.
watched it. There's a lot of
Uh,
shows like that,
Yeah, it's just like, you know what? This is my.
and sometimes they're just like dorky or funny, and I'm like,
yeah,
this is cool.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched How I Met Your Mother 50 million times.
Yeah, same.
But right here, so this show, it's based on a true story. This dude gets sentenced to 10 years in a minimum security prison, but he cuts a deal with them to pretty much befriend like a serial killer.
Mm.
So they're like, okay, if you go here, we'll let you out, I think, right? Let me see. See, that's really interesting. Like kind of like becomes friends with this dude, and he like tells him like, let's see, we could hear.
That's like his old man.
Yeah. And he still just becomes a criminal. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Damn.
This one I watched literally like in 10 minutes.
Oh, this is a guy that's like
Yeah.
a killer? Oh, shit.
So that's the thing. So he like so this guy, I won't play the whole thing, but the other guy, the one that's the criminal, he was this, and it's a real story, guys. He was always lying to the police that he did stuff. So he basically was one of those people that would like, oh, I killed this person. Oh, I did that. Oh, I did this. So they thought he was just crazy and wanted to take credit for different like stuff. So then he basically has to like try to get the truth out of him. It was one of the best shows I've seen in forever. And when
Wait,
was
so
it?
this show's done?
Yeah,
So
it's just like a
show
mini
done.
series.
Okay.
So yeah, 2022. I think I watched it last year. I forgot. I think I might have been listening to, I forgot what podcast it was, but they talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, that sounds pretty good. And then I saw the actors. I'm like, oh, they're both pretty good actors.
I gotta check that out.
But yeah, that
looks
show, one of the best ones on Apple TV. But I just brought it up because we were saying, you know, there's a lot of like really good shows right now on Apple TV. Those are a few of them. Dark Matter, I kind of started, but I didn't really finish that.
good. Yeah, I've heard about.
That's
Dark
one where
Matter.
he's like, I think he somehow crosses over to like some other universe with them. I don't know, something like that. But they have a lot of good stuff, man. And if you have an iPhone, I think, and you never use it, I'm pretty sure you can use it for free.
Oh my God, Ted Lasso.
See, I've never watched that, but I've heard a
was
lot of
good.
stuff.
I
that's
love Ted
funny.
Lasso. I think it's coming back with another season.
Oh,
too.
this was actually really funny too.
Bad Money. Oh,
Bad Monkey. Yeah,
Okay.
Bad Monkey with Vince Vaughn was pretty funny. Good story. I think those are the only ones I watched. Yeah, this one. I've watched like a few of these, like one episode, and then it gets like, this is a little too slow.
Yeah.
Swagger, never seen it. They got good stuff though. I like Apple TV. It's decent.
Yeah, it's solid.
It has its moments. I think I've like stopped and started it a few times. Like, all right, I'm gonna start it again. All right, I'm gonna get rid of it now. I'm gonna bring it back.
And if you're watching and you're like, hey, I don't want to, get an Apple subscription, I'm sure there's websites out there for you to use.
Yeah, we're not gonna disclose those.
Yeah, we're not going to disclose.
But you could find them.
We don't use those. But
Yeah, we still don't trust you. No, I mean, yeah, I don't use anything like that. Not by far. They've cracked down a lot of the streaming services.
They really have. Even like the sports.
Yeah, the sports
stuff.
ones. Yeah, I was like the other day trying to watch the UFC.
No, Dana.
Oh, that's
Dana's
something
like
else too,
super
man.
against
Oh,
that,
yeah, that's why there's one I used to always watch. I forgot which one it was. I won't even bring up the name. But they used to put a picture of Dana White at the end of the fight when it was like the final, the car was over. They'd start trolling him and put up like a little Dana White, you dig? We got to spend 5 minutes before we finish on tomorrow's fight. Izzy Adesanya.
Yeah.
He's fighting at tomorrow. Don't forget, it's 11 a.m. They're in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, shoot. Wait, what time?
11 a.m.
Oh, man.
And this is free.
Got a packed morning.
This is a free fight. This is the first time Izzy's fought not on a pay-per-view. Like,
what's it on?
just ESPN or
Okay.
ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus. So actually, you do need the app. But I do got it. I don't know if they're going to have it on TV. They might. But yeah, this is actually a pretty... Dude, this card to me is better than the pay-per-view one that's like in a week or two. Look at that. You got Izzy and Amavav.
That's going to be a good fight.
I'm a V. And then...
What's the reach between the two? Oh, Izzy's going to be... Izzy's got long arms.
Yeah, so Izzy last fight lost to Drakus.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to, like, I watched some videos about him a while. I mean, I'm a big Izzy fan. And he talked about, I just want to get back to fighting for like fun. So he doesn't even want to fight for the title right now.
Yeah.
This is going to be a badass fight. This dude is crazy right here.
Yeah, but so is Michael Page.
Yeah, but this guy, Michael Page is a dog too.
Yeah.
This guy has one eye. So if you guys know that this guy has one working eye and just be rocking dudes, this is going to be a crazy fight. Sergey Pavlovich and Rosenstruck, both dudes just throwing
what a wild name.
haymakers. Which one?
Rosenstruck's the first name.
Yeah, Jarzinho, I think so.
Jairzinho.
Something like that. This will be decent just because the names.
Any
Nurmagomedov and Oliveira, two good names. And then Mike Davis for him. And then
this
I
is
think
a damn
that was
good
it.
fight.
Yeah, there's actually... Is that
or a
it?
damn good night or day.
Yeah, just for free too. I mean, if you got the app, jump on. Izzy's coming off a couple losses, but
you taking Izzy
in this fight,
yeah.
I feel like they're giving him a
comeback. Like,
I mean, this dude's good, but
yeah,
probably like a layup. At least what they think is 15-4, and then I always do this fight history. So he's
some wins.
Yeah, let's see some of these names. These are where. All right, so fight. He's been in the UFC for 5 years. That's pretty long.
I mean, the L's too. Like
4-1.
Strickland,
Sean Strickland was good.
Yeah.
Chris Curtis, no contest. I wonder what he did. That must mean that somebody either got hurt or like did something illegal. Then he beat this guy. Jared Cannonier is pretty good. Who's Brandon Allen? See, I don't really know who Brandon Allen is.
Yeah, same.
So he fought him, but then, I mean, I know Jared Cannonier and he KO'd him. See, that's the thing that's like a little bit, it's a lot of
it's
decisions. And that's like Izzy's game, yeah. So I feel like that's why they're trying to build him back up, see what happens. He talked about a lot too, like, he's like, I've been champ for like a minute, so you start to get tired of all the extra shit that comes with it.
It's such a different like mentality to Jones. I like Jones a lot too. Don't get me wrong, but it's such a different mentality in terms of like, he's like, I want to get back to fighting for fun, and he's like fighting these people who like, no offense to this guy, but it's like he's not a champion or.
That's
like
also because John Jones is just that raw though.
Yeah,
because Izzy's like, I mean, he's lost now. Like John Jones has never lost.
Yeah, but like. So Jones won't even take fights against like up and comers.
That's true, yeah.
Who are like raw. He wants to fight like people who are already established, who are good, which is respectable. He wants to add on to his legacy, and his legacy isn't going to be built on up and comers who are raw. It's going to be built on beating the established people. So I can respect that, but it's also like these people also want a chance at the title. Like.
Yeah, I think he's gonna end up fighting Aspinall. Though.
Aspinall is the main one.
It's just different stories. Izzy didn't have anything that fucked him up to like not fight. He didn't get in any trouble to not be able to fight. So it's like he just kept going and going. And he's the most like active, I think, person that ever most to defend his titles.
I think so too. Yeah.
So it's just I guess, yeah, it's just different. They're like complete, like you said, they're just different.
I think if Aspinall, if they pay Jones enough, I think
they said, yeah, I think he wants like 30 million,
Damn.
which is worth it. He's going to sell it out.
Yeah.
All right, though. But shit, we've been here for like an hour, y'all. Thanks for coming through. Thanks to my guy Richard for stopping by, being the first guest on the Unlimited Characters podcast, the first of many appearances.
Yes.
But check out those shows we're talking about, man. You definitely got to check out Beast Games. Richard does too. Yeah. Squid Games, we both agree, is a hit. Silo, pretty damn good. Severance, I'm catching up. Yeah, so next time we talk, I'm going to catch up and finish season 2, and then we'll talk about Severance season 2. But we gone. Stay up. Don't be crazy. Don't be lazy. Yeah, subscribe.
Hit that subscribe button.
Deuces.